morning to every soul present here today. I, Aradhya Khandelwal, and I, Isra Manchanda, extend a warm welcome to everyone present here. Today, we gather to celebrate the power of stories. Stories that inspire, teach, and guide us. Stories are not just words, they are lessons wrapped in imagination. They shape our values and help us understand the difference between right and wrong. And today's event, the Model Storytelling Competition, is all about bringing those beautiful lessons to life through creativity and expressions. Before we begin, let us introduce our esteemed panel of judges. We have with us respected Preeti Malhotra ma'am, respected Bhagwati ma'am, and respected Seema ma'am from Preparatory Wing. We are truly honored to have you with us. Thank you for taking out your valuable time to encourage our young storytellers. Here we will our first category of storytellers from class 4. Contestant number 1.
Respect father, sister, teachers, and my audience friends. Let's go and learn about the story is the aunt and the apple. There was a Judah. They shared an apple. The apple was red. His friend and enemy asked him for the bite. The aunt gave him the bite. The alligator and the aunt ate the apple. After they ate the apple, the aunt went to it. The moral of the story is we need share to others. Thank you.
There was no water anywhere. All the lakes and ponds were dry. And at last, he saw a pond under a tree with very little water in it. He tried hard, but he could not reach the water as it was very low. He picked up pebbles one by one and dropped them into the pot. The raining of water got up. The flow made the water and few of it were happy. The moral of the story is, where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you very much.
Good morning everyone. The title of my story is A Thirsty Crow. One hot summer day, a crow was very thirsty. He flew in search of water, but could not find water. At last, he saw a pitcher with some water in it. But the water was so low that the crow could not drink it. He looked around and found some pebbles near the pitcher. He took the pebbles one by one and brought them into the pitcher. The water reached the neck of the pitcher. The crow quenched his thirst and flew away. The moral of the story is, where there is will, there is always a way. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will tell you a short story with a big lesson. The title is The Crow and the Peacock. Once there was a crow who was very unhappy with its black feathers. I am so ugly, he said. Suddenly he saw a peacock with beautiful and colorful feathers. The crow went to the peacock and said, "You are the luckiest bird on earth. Everyone loves your clear colors." The peacock smiled sadly and said, "I used to think that too, but because of my beauty, I am trapped in this zoo. People come and pluck my feathers. Look at you. No one puts a crow in a cage. You are really free to fly anywhere. The crow realized his mistake. He flapped his wings and flew high into the sky. He was finally happy with himself. The moral of the story is compassion is the key of joy. Be happy with who you are. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Respected teachers, my dear friends, my story is the frog. One day, a frog decided to climb up the tree. The other frog shouted, "Hey, it's impossible, don't do! Hey, it's impossible, don't do!" But the frog climbed up the tree. How was that possible? Because frog has death. He thought everyone is encouraging him to climb up the tree. Moral of the story is, if you want to reach your goal, you have to be there. Soon and commence. Good morning, everyone. My name is Naila. Today I will tell you a story about the honest woodcutter. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a very poor woodcutter. He was honest and hardworking. Every day he would go to the forest, chop trees, and sell the wood to make a living. One day, while he was cutting a tree beside a deep river, his axe suddenly slipped from his hand and fell into the deep water. "Oh no, my axe! My only source of income is gone!" he cried out. The woodcutter was devastated as he had no money to buy a new one. Seeing his distress, the goddess of river appeared and asked, "Why are you crying, my dear?" The woodcutter told her about his lost axe. The goddess went into the river and brought out a shining golden axe. "Goddess, is this one yours?" Woodcutter, "No, that is not my axe," he said honestly. The goddess went into water again and brought out a beautiful silver axe. "Goddess, is this one yours?" Woodcutter, "No, that is not my axe," either he said again. Finally, the goddess went into the water a third time and brought out a simple iron axe. Today I will tell you the story of the big elephant and the ant. One there was a very big elephant. He is gone, but he was not kind. Every day he used his long trunk to spray water on a tiny plant. Good morning, cats. The title of my story is The Mat. Once my cat found a shiny stone in the river. When the cat picked it, the stone started to glow. The stone said, "I can see one which come true." The child saw many people who had no food. So the child said, "I think I'll wish everyone gets food to eat." The stone became very bright and broke into golden grains. All the people were happy. The stone said, "Magic works when you think about others." The moral of the story is sharing and kindness are the real magic. Thank you. Reverend Father, Reverend Sister, and all my dear friends, the story is true, The Lion and the Mouse. Once upon a time there was a lion and a mouse. One day the lion was sleeping. The mouse started playing on it. The lion woke up. He got him. The mouse requested forgiveness. The lion let him go. After some days, the lion was caught in a net. The mouse came and he cut the net with his teeth. The lion was free. He thanked the mouse A pen and a pencil found each other sitting on a desk. It was late afternoon and they did not have any work to do. So they started talking. The pen said, "Hey pencil, don't you feel sad when someone you you keep getting shorter and shorter?" The pencil replied, "Oh no, I used to feel sad in the beginning, but when I saw that, I felt." Morning to one and all present here. My title of story is The Thirsty Crow. It was a hot day. A crow was very thirsty. He looked for water. He saw a pot with little water. The crow had an idea. He picked up the smallest stone and dropped it into the pot. The water came up and the crow drank the water and flew away. Moral of the story is, think and work hard, you will find a way. Thank you.
My story title is A Secret Tea House. Nina discovered a secret tea house in town. Inside she found books and games, and she invited her friends, and they played together every day. The tea house. Morning to everyone. My name is Monsity. Today I am going to speak a beautiful story. The water worked hard for weeks, making incredible beautiful clay pots. As it stayed peacefully, three naughty dogs broke his stool and started all the pots, damaging them into the pieces. They left the studio only a day later. The potter wake up, he saw all the pots smashed. He deeply saddened and pursed his lip. Seeing the potter disappear, very sad to help. That night, potter peeped into his studio, carrying his several tiny ants leading all the pots. The good-hearted potter gave them to tiny creatures, tame and sweet, which as luck. Next day, the potter took the pots to the market and sold them excellent price. And he silently thanked the elves. The moral of the story is, kindness and hard work are will be rewarded. Thank you very much.
The title of my story is The Pencil Secret. In a small school bag, a little pencil was crying. "What song are the big letters?" The pencil said, "I am scared from making mistakes. Every time I do, I get shorter. I feel like I am disappearing for nothing." The eraser smiled and said, "My friend, you are disappearing a little. You are leaving a mark. Every time you get shorter, it means you have learned something new. And every time I rub something out, I just helping you to start right." The pencil stopped crying. It realized that being a
The title of my story is The Proud Rose. Once upon a time there was a rose plant. She was very proud of her beautiful flower. However, she was very sad. She grew the ugly cactus. Every day the rose plant insulted the cactus on his door. But the cactus was silent. One summer, pretty that area dripped up and it did not rain at all. There was no water for the plants. The rose plant withered. Just then, she saw a hunting bird there. Her beak through the cactus stand. It was
Teacher and all my dear friends. Today, I am telling a story on Baba and Tara. There was a boy named Baba
the poor porter ran back from the battlefield and go back to his village. Moral of the story is never judge anyone by its appearance.
The title of my story is The Valley of Time. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Sam who loved to play all day and avoided his chores. One day, he met an old man who was busy planting seeds in his garden. The curious Sam asked, "Why are you working so hard?" The old man smiled and said, "Time is like a river, it flows away and never returns. Each moment you waste is like a seed that will never grow." Sam thought about it and realized he had been wasting his precious time. He decided to make each day count, balancing his fun with his responsibilities. He understood the time once lost could never return, and each moment was a gift. The moral of my story is don't waste your time because it is very precious. Thank you. Confession to everyone. The title of my story is A Farmer and His Three Sons. Once upon a time, in a fair village, lives a hard-working farmer who was great field. Year after year, his labor gave great harvest, and the farmer became very successful. He had three sons who are young and energetic, but never bother to work. As the farmer grows old, he begins to worry about his son's future. Then he falls ill and realizes his death is fast approaching. He called his sons and told them, "Dear sons, I see my death near me. But before I bid goodbye to you, I want to share a secret." He told them, "Here is a treasure hidden under the field. Dig the entire field after my death to find it." The old farmer died, and his sons performed the last rites. The son began to dig for the treasure, but without leaving any part of the field, but found nothing. However, their digging field leads to the cultivation of health, crop, and result in huge earnings. These earnings realize sons what their father means. The moral of the story is hard work always pays off. A dream does not become.
Morning to all of you present here. The topic of my story is The Princess and the Frog. Once upon a time, a beautiful princess lived in a kingdom. She is having a golden ball. One day, she goes in a garden and she played with her golden ball. Few later, her golden ball fell into a well. She was very sad and crying. Few later, a ugly frog come and say, "Oh dear princess, why are you crying?" Princess said, "My golden ball was fallen into a well." Frog said, "I give you your golden ball." Princess said, "Really? You give me my golden ball? Please give me my golden ball." Frog jumped into a water and gave her golden ball. Princess said, "What do you want?" Frog said, "Kiss." Then Princess said, "Okay, give me my golden ball." Then Frog gave him her golden ball, and Princess was very happy and ran for her kingdom. Next morning, ugly Frog knocked the door and said, "Oh dear princess, you forgot your promise." Oh, her father did say, "Princess, you never break your promise." Princess said, "Okay father." She opened the door and gave him kiss. Then abracadabra, ugly frog changed in a handsome prince. Then princess and handsome prince lived together. The moral of the story is we should never break our promise. Thank you.
My name is Conrad, and today I will speak one beautiful story. My topic is about Rapunzel. Once upon a time, a girl named Rapunzel lived drank the water and flew away happily. The moral of the story is think and work hard. You will find a way. Thank you, everyone. The topic of my story is the boy who cried wolf. A boy had a duty to look after a flock of sheep. One day he started shouting, wolf, 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 for the sole purpose of fun. On hearing him, the villagers rushed to his help. What started as a figment of his imagination became his hobby, and he started fooling the villagers. One day, when a wolf really comes, nobody comes, and as a result, the boy was killed. There was no one to blame but him. So, the moral of the story is never lie, no matter how bad the situation is. Thank you. Class 4. Contestant number 1.
Good morning to Conrad. The title of my story is Choose Books Over Distraction. Once there lived a smart and intelligent boy, Roman. He was very good at studies, but always became distracted towards the mobile phone. He thought to himself, what will happen if I see the mobile phone for only 5 minutes? Slowly, 5 minutes passed to 20 minutes, 20 to 40, and then 1 hour to 2 hours. This happened every day. When he realized his mistake, it was too late. After the examination had begun, when he saw the question paper, he was blank. He didn't knew any questions. The result came. He scored very less marks. His teacher called him and asked the reason and said, Rohan, always choose books over distraction and keep your phone aside while studying. Rohan realized his mistakes and scored good marks in upper test. Thank you. The title of my story is Who is my neighbor? One day, a man asked Jesus, what must I do to go to heaven? Jesus replied, what do the scriptures say? Love thy God with all your heart, mind, and body, and love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus said, right, you answered correctly. Do this and you will be able to go to heaven. The man replied, but I don't understand this thing about neighbor. Who is my neighbor? Jesus said, once there was a man who was going on a journey on his way. He got attacked by robbers. They took his money, clothes, and left him half dead on highway. and said, "Dear seed, why are you so sad?" The seed replied, "I am too tiny. I don't think I can ever become big and strong." The sun said gently, "Just believe in yourself and keep growing. Great things take time." Hearing this, the seed decided to try. Every day drank water from rain and sown sunlight. Slowly it began to grow. First a small root, then a tiny shoot. Days passed.
So today I am going to present a very interesting story on the starfishes and the girl. So let's get started. On the beach, a massive storm has come and left thousands of starfishes on that beach. The next day, a young girl saw this storm and started picking up the starfishes one by one and throwing them back gently into the ocean, so they wouldn't die in the sun. The old man watched her and laughed at her. "Why are you doing it? There are miles of beaches and thousands of starfishes. You can't possibly save them all. It doesn't even matter," he said. The young girl picked up another starfish and tossed it into the waves. Then she smiled.
To one and all present here. Today my story is on the valley of time. Once upon a time there was a young boy named Sam who loved to play all day and avoided sleep chores. One day he met an old man who was busy planting seeds in his garden. Curious and asked, "Why are you doing so hard work?" The old man smiled and said, "Time is like a river. It follows away and never returns. Every moment is wasted like a seed that will never grow." Same thought about different life. He had been wasting his previous time. He decided to make each day balancing his fun with his responsibilities. After many years, Sam becomes successful and happy, always grateful for the lesson he learned. He understood this time once lost could never be resigned, and each moment was a gift to cheer. Moral of the story.
Good morning everyone. I'd like to utilize this opportunity and narrate a story titled "The Squirrels and the River." Once in a forest, there was a group of squirrels living happily near the river. One day, due to heavy rain, the river overflew and flooded their homes. Each squirrel tried to save food and build shelter on its own, but the strong water kept destroying their efforts. Soon they grew tired and worried. Then one old squirrel suggested, "Instead of working alone, let's come together and build a stronger shelter above the flood level." At first, some doubted, but then they agreed to try. They worked as a team. Some gathered twigs, some gathered leaves.
Good morning to everyone present here. Today I am here to tell a story about the gift of nature. This story is about a boy full of natural beauty named Rahul. He always wanted to play outside. So, one day he was playing near a river in his village. He loved the cool breeze, the sound of birds singing in the trees, the fresh fruits hanging on the trees. But he often saw many people throwing garbage into the river and cutting down trees. He felt sad, but he didn't know what to do. One evening, an old man came to Rahul and told him, "My child, nature is a precious gift of God. It gives us fresh air, clean water, and different types of foods." To one another present here, my name is Bani. I'm from class
everyone started shouting and running around. But the monkey
इधर इधर नहीं नहीं रुपया वो पंडा अंदर है
and dancing happily. The Lord said calm and said, stop.
आ रहा हूँ 2 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ
He really took out the banana and gently placed it on the ground. Then he sat back and waited. The curious monkey came down, dropped the lunchbox, and picked the banana. Everyone was surprised and smiled at Conrad's intention and laughed and finished. The moral of my story is intelligence
honesty. People intensity. Rahul was looking for a new fantasy and saw a beautiful girl on the floor. It was whistling by his friend Sarah. Temptation made him pick it up and catch it in his bag. However, only his heart felt heavy. He saw Sarah was crying. He felt his character worse. Rahul realized that keeping the cake is a form of stealing. It is taking it from her hand. He felt his character worse, more than a empty cake. He confessed to Sarah and returned him. Sarah thanked him for his honesty. The moral of the story is true character is going to guide. Janaki is going to tell a beautiful story. One day two fox ran in a team of maize. He tried and come out, but one said, I completely cried. I don't know swim any longer than here. Today, the title of my story is The True Friends. There were 4 best friends, a mouse, a turtle, a deer, and a crow. One day, their friend deer got caught in a hunter's trap. Don't worry, my friend, I will set you free, said the mouse. He nibbled. Running out of cricket here. Today, I am going to narrate a story on by heart. Ria was the topper of her class. She had a special talent by she can learn everything by heart. Before exams, she used to memorize all the pages and pages and wrote them perfectly in the exam. The school called him highly strict. He started doing antics, but suddenly he fell down. He called